What makes this Oregon Ducks baseball team special or maybe different from years past?
Ooh, that's a great question. I really, first off, I think their physicality, they're really strong. When I first got here, it was the first thing that we really wanted to do is invest in the weight room, and I think it's kind of a cliche. A lot of people say it. These guys really did it, and specifically the position players. Um, we've been able to break a lot of home run records now, and I really do kind of think there's a few elements there. I do think the ball is wound a little tighter and it's going further. They've improved a little bit of the technology in the bats, but I can't. And Jack Martin, the hitting coach here, that works daily with our hitters, is really good at what he does. I do think that strength in the weight room has been a huge factor with that. And so, one is the physicality. Two is the fact that I think that the locker room itself, it hasn't always been this way. Now, at the beginning of the year, it probably wasn't as awesome as it is now, but the locker room culture has continued to improve and develop since we've gotten here. And it was something that the first group, actually, when we first showed up into town, really wanted. And so they really peeled away, without getting too long-winded, my wife would kill me, but they really wanted to peel away from kind of what you have in the background, just the stuff, the element of the Oregon stuff. You get all the shoes, you get all the stuff, you get all the clothes, and they wanted to get away from that, and they wanted to get into people who wanted to be here to play for the right reasons. That's winning. And so we start every year now from the request of basically that first year's team. We start every year with simply 2 white T-shirts and a pair of black shorts and a pair of running shoes or a pair of spikes, and that's it. Like, we don't do the Twitter picture or the Instagram shot with the stuff in the locker anymore about how awesome the stuff is. We just go real basic and we earn it, and we really try to rally around that message. And I think the locker room has, and those would be the 2 biggest things I think that make this team special.
I love that. Sounds like it's substance over stuff.
That's part of our that's part of our acronym in the process that we have: preparation, relationship, ownership, compete, energy and effort, substance, and standards. That's what the process stands for in our program, and that's our weightlifting shirt every single day.
You kind of mentioned there that the locker room chemistry has maybe changed a little bit from the beginning of this season to now. What has surprised you about the group is how they've developed this season?
Um, we had some early injuries, right? And so the test was when the players that get back from injuries, when those guys came back and they might not have been ready to play, but yet they were starters for us in the past. And that dynamic, because, they were taking the place now of guys that were playing because they were hurt, right? And so then when they got healthy and they got inserted in the lineup, it just felt a little bit off at that point. I think some of the guys that were playing were probably going, well, wait a minute, I'm doing pretty good. And the guys that were coming back from injuries that were really good and key factors of our super regional teams are saying, okay, I'm healthy now, right, coach? And so I should be in the lineup. And that was a challenge, right? So you really had to manage that in individual meetings and stuff behind the scenes. And it really kind of got the locker room a little shaky. There was some selfishness there because there always is in sport. Guys want to play well. You got a chance to make a lot of money in this game. And so how can selfishness not be in any locker room? It's just about how you manage it. And we really tried to, as a staff, invest a ton of time into like almost counseling sessions. Offline, just come by, stop by, have coffee. Those kind of just kind of organic meetings we did a lot of, and I think it really kind of paid dividends to unite the locker room. And like right now, it's really clean, it's really smooth, and I mean it's a fun deal. Nobody really, there's not a lot of resistance in the locker room whatsoever right now. It's just clean and easy.
Perfect time for that to happen.
Perfect time for that, Brie. Yeah.
Yeah. So you won the College World Series as a player at Pepperdine.
Yes.
How much would it mean to you to get back to Omaha this season?
A ton, and it's a different venue. When I played, it was at Rosenblatt Stadium, and it was kind of like the historic stadium there in Omaha. And then, of course, they've changed that now to the new Charles Schwab Field, and it's gorgeous. We were just there for the Big Ten tournament, but it's sure a lot different, the Big Ten tournament versus College World Series, and the energy in the city is the first thing you point to. even though we were playing against Nebraska, which is kind of the home team in the Big Ten tournament, and they had 10, 20,000 people there rooting for them, supposedly on a neutral site, which is not exactly a neutral game. But still, yeah, the energy in the College World Series is awesome. And, the University of Oregon has not been to the College World Series of baseball program since 1954. So it's a big deal. And, yeah, there was a lot of time in there where they didn't even have the opportunity to go back because the program didn't exist. The program got dropped, and then it got brought back, obviously, for that first season in 2009. So for us in 2025, after the program had only gotten back since 2009, it's a really big deal. And it hasn't been around for that long. And so the success that we're having, there's been a lot of people that are starting to see like, wow, these guys are really doing good up there in that kind of stormy Northwest. And no, it's not really just about Oregon State. And as a matter of fact, these guys at Oregon are starting to make a claim that not only are they as good as those guys, but in this specific year, we showed we were better on the field than those guys. And people are starting to really take notice of that. It's a fickle thing. It's a year-by-year thing. There's two great programs right now in the Northwest, which is awesome. The two best programs in the entire western side of the United States are up here. And fans should appreciate that, right? They should really embrace the fact that those two programs that are up here in the Northwest, I don't think that should happen. I think that should be more like Southern California, warm weather, traditional stuff. And yet it's not that way right now. And so that's fun.
It was so fun. Jacob Walsh said he wants PK Park this weekend to feel like Autzen Stadium. What's your message to Ducks fans for this weekend?
Go get it. Be the difference. Like, be the reason when you come, be the reason why Oregon wins. And that means when you're disappointed in something that happened, yeah, put your big boy pants on because everybody is, and get over it and get on to the next possible way that you can help the team win. And that's provide the unbelievable environment that we are so used to in Autzen Stadium. And then just last week at the Jane, I wasn't there, but I heard that place was just going nuts. And so for me, that's the exciting thing. And just to let you guys know, like David, they're building now bleachers in the outfield, all the way around the outfield because the demand of tickets. And Rob Mullins, when I walked out of that press conference at 10:01, he said, wow, the reserve seating's already sold out, and ticketing had only been open for 10 minutes. And so the demand is out there. It's clear. And we just want those fans to, almost like you're not allowed to sit. It's a must stand for 3 hours or 2.5 hours or however long the game is. Sit down between innings, but after the between innings thing, on your feet, rocking that place just like Jacob wants.
So you've coached 150 players who have been selected in MLB Draft, and 42 of those are big leaguers. So that's really cool. Obviously, you have a lot of experience with high caliber players. When you look at Mason Neville, what makes him such an elite prospect?
Really quick twitch athlete. I say this to Mason all the time. Hey, man, you can do whatever you choose to do on the field. And he is that kind of a talent. He can do what he chooses to do on a baseball field. And so him making the right choices on that field is really the only thing that we try to push as a coach. But he's gotten to a point now where he's super strong. When we first got him, he wasn't very strong, but he's super strong. He's a confident young guy. He's leading the country in home runs with 26, and I think he's got a lot more in the tank. But he's just a super skilled athlete, and he's been around this game for a long time. He understands it a lot. And so he was just sitting on my couch just yesterday for a half hour, stopping by, just saying, hey, so break it down for me. What do we got? And he just uses every piece of information. Really smart kid when it comes to baseball. I think that's why the pro scouts like him so much.